What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and they're out of Paso Robles, California, and this is their Wookey Jack, the 2023 release. So they're calling this one a Black Rye IPA, and it comes in at 8.3% alcohol by volume, 70 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is just over 1 month old. So Wookey Jack is back. Now, they released this one for the first time in quite a while back in 2021, but I believe it was released in 4 packs of 16-ounce cans, and it didn't make their entire distribution footprint because I did not see it here in Buffalo, New York. But a couple weeks ago, I heard this one was coming back, and it showed up, and I cannot be any happier about it because while I'm not a huge Black IPA fan, I've said that numerous times on the channel over the years, this is one of my favorite Black IPAs, and I think it's because they brew it with rye. I think that gives it that little zip that I need, but also it's because of Firestone Walker, and I just enjoy their beers. Now, I can't wait to get in this one, but I wish I could find Union Jack and Double Jack a little bit fresher than I typically can. I'm going to keep my eye out for both of them, every time I go to the any beer store, because more often than not, those beers, when I see them, are like 4, 5, 6 months old, and I don't want to review, a very old IPA or double IPA. This, just over a month old, super fresh. Shout out to the train going by. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Last time I had it, I think it was in the Bomber? Did they used to have them in the Bombers? I haven't had this beer probably, to be honest with you, in like 10 years. Maybe 8, something like that. Definitely early to mid 2010s. And I just remember enjoying it. And again, as someone who doesn't really like Black IPAs all that much, this was just like one of my favorites. So poured it into the hashtag proper glassware. We have a pitch black looking beer. When it poured out, it was more dark brown. On camera, in person right now, this is pitch black. Has about a finger and a half of a lightly brown to almost firmly brown colored head. Has some bigger bubbles, smaller bubbles, but it looks somewhat creamy. Yeah, beautiful looking beer in general. Let's get a nose. Nice. So you're getting all that malt character. It's roasty, it's toasty, a little bit of like a baker's chocolate, like a medium coffee roast. But then I get that rye, and then on top of that, like this earthy, floral kind of hop nose. Maybe a little bit like a resinous pine. Oh, it smells good. As I continue to smell it, the baker's chocolate is turning into like a 50% cacao bar, which is nice. So a little bit of a sweeter element, a little bit of like molasses as well. Maybe some dark like stone fruits as well, like a dark cherry. This smells reminiscent of so many, American imperial stouts that are kind of like Black IPAs, like Victory Storm King, for instance, or like even just a Russian imperial stout like Old Rasputin from North Coast, where you get all that malty goodness, but then you're hit with a pretty substantial, like moderate hop character that is unmistakable. And it's not like, the new age hops where it's like a New England style where it's fruity and juicy and stone fruits and tropical fruits and this and that. It just has that earthy kind of floral piney kind of note. It smells really good. 8.3%, you really can't detect it in the nose. Yeah, it smells awesome. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah. Oh, the finish is delightful. It's just a really good Black IPA or Black Rye IPA. Just really good. Body might be a little bit thin for most. I think this is like medium, maybe a touch over medium body. 8.3%. I think some people might like to see it a little bit bigger. I'm okay with it. If you know me and you've watched any reviews of a triple IPA from me, or an Imperial IPA in the 8 to 10% realm, if it's medium or a touch over medium, I'm okay with it. I think it adds to the drinkability. I don't want to drink an Imperial Stout here. This is a Black IPA, so I like a little thinner body. I think it works better. The mouthfeel is really nice as well. Moderately carbonated, but really smooth going down. So body, touch thin, works for me. Mouthfeel appropriate for an 8.3% Black Rye IPA. They don't call it double IPA, they say IPA. The taste, it's a Black Rye IPA. Front of the palate, again, roasty, toasty, more to the roasted malt character side of things. Passes through a little bit of molasses, 50% cacao bar, medium roasted coffee, black cherry. It's the first thing that hits me. Continues on. It starts to transition from sweeter, maltier characteristics into a pretty big earthy, floral pine, resinous pine kind of finish. This finish is moderately bitter, the semi-dry kind of finish, but there's this lingering resinous pine bitterness. It's not like overblown. It's not too much even for myself. It just works well with what I'm tasting. I think the rye spice is also kind of blending in with the finish. It has like a slight zippy kind of rye character, spicy, but very subtle. Like if they didn't tell me there was rye in here, I would feel that, but I wouldn't necessarily call out rye. I'd just say, oh, there's a slight spiciness to the hop character. It's definitely rye though. It's like a dark kind of rye bread kind of essence to that's what's left on the finish. When I said the finish is cool, kind of has like a bittering, like dark rye bread characteristic. That's pretty cool. It's very easy to drink, 8.3%. I'll be honest with you, I do taste a little bit of the alcohol on the palate. A lot of these old school beers, like you're talking beers that, were released for the first time back in like the late 2000s or early 2010s. They didn't hide the alcohol as well as they do with a lot of beers nowadays. And I can tell this is like in the double IPA realm in terms of ABV, but it doesn't bother me because it's not as stringent. It's just like, oh, yeah, there's a little bit booziness there. Nice warming into the chest. Works well, though, with what I'm tasting and what I want from this beer. All right, last sip. Yeah, listen, it's a black rye IPA. I can say it for like the 5th time this review, but it's not my favorite style. So I'm going to have to give 2 ratings stylistically and kind of what I enjoy. This is one of the best black IPAs that I've ever had, and it still is to this day. They just have done it extremely well. So stylistically, for a black rye IPA, this is pretty good. I would give this like a 4.5, 4.6. Like, this is excellent for the style. Personal rating, still pretty high. So Wookey Jack, the 2023 release from Firestone Walker. I have no issues giving that a high 4.25 and go 4.3 out of 5. That's where this lands. This is probably, and I'm going to say this, not knowing off the top of my head how many, off the top of my head, not hand, off the top of my head, how many black IPAs that I have reviewed or that I've tried over the past like 7-8 years. This is probably my favorite black IPA at this point. Again, it has rye in it, a little bit of a cheat, so whatever. It's just really good. Price point availability, I think I paid like 2 something for that can, and I think 6-packs were like $13.99. 8.3% black rye IPA for $14 for a 6-pack all day, every day. Great value and availability. It's Firestone Walker. If you see them in your neck of the woods, especially if you see their like regular offerings like Union Jack, Double Jack, Pivo Pills, not just the Sukabas, Parabolas, anniversary beers. I'm talking about like their regular beers. You should see this one. Plus their Mine Haze and all their hazy beers as well. You should see this one. Right now, as I'm reviewing this, just over a month old. By the time I post this, probably be about 5 weeks old. So you still can pick this one up and have it relatively fresh. I think this is going to hold up for probably another month or 2. Like it's an old school kind of recipe. It's not going to fade instantly, and it's just really good. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. What do you think about this beer now compared to what this beer used to be? Is it the same to you? Again, admittedly, I just remember it being really good, and this beer is still really good. So I don't think it fell off all that much, although some folks might out there be like, hey, back when I had this one in 2015, it was much better. Maybe it was. To me, though, and what I'm trying to remember, this is just as good as I remember it. And again, it's not my favorite style, but I think that speaks volumes for this beer because it's still a really good beer. So again, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.